What's up, YouTube? Poor Man Podcast back with another highly edited video. In 2021, we hear a lot about women's empowerment, okay? And what that seems to mean nowadays is being a strong, independent woman. But I would argue to be powerful as a woman means to be vulnerable and feminine. Because humans have an inclination to be empathetic, there is power in vulnerability, and people often get this mistaken. Vulnerability kind of appeals to the better nature of the empathetic beast. For example, wolves and dogs are very, very similar, but wolves are widely seen for their strength and independence, okay? And while some people on surface level may say that this is power, the strength and independence, I would argue that it's their ultimate downfall. Dogs, on the other hand, are just like wolves. Actually, they come from wolves. They were wolves, just the wolves with the natural inclination to be more social. They seen humans as a valuable resource for food and integrated into a partnership with humanity. Many wolves, due to their strong, independent nature, began to fight with humans for resources and territory. This eventually led to them becoming an endangered species. Since dogs use their vulnerability to appeal to the better nature of humanity, they reap the rewards, okay? And some people in the West would even argue that dogs are better than humans because of their companionship. And it's not uncommon that you see people risking their lives for their pets. So while wolves are seen as stronger and more independent, I would argue that dogs hold more true power. How did they get that power? Through humans being empathetic to their vulnerability. I believe this is the true power of women in society. I also believe this is the reason why men are more likely to be victims of every violent crime except for the R word. Women aren't less punchable than men. And trust me, there are plenty of women that do things to men that they deserve to get hit for. Okay, but most men won't hit a woman. They won't hit a woman for any reason. Why? Because they see women as vulnerable and something that needs to be protected. This is your true power as a woman. In most cases, only when women become physically violent do men become physically violent. And why do men become physically violent? Because they no longer see you as a vulnerable being that needs to be protected. They now see you as a competitor. And this has never worked well for women, okay? And this is why I always tell women to never become physically aggressive with men. Always try to appeal to his better nature and de-escalate the situation. Vulnerable and feminine women are so powerful that they reap the benefits of war without even having to lift a finger. Millions of young men throughout history have died in war to protect women and children. Why? Because with the exception of a small minority of men, men seem to be the protectors of the vulnerable in our society. There's been a recent push to empower women, and to gain this power, you're supposed to compete against men. Historically speaking, this has not been the way to gain true power. Just like the wolf, a strong, independent woman may seem more powerful on paper, but I would argue that the woman that uses her femininity to convince men to do the work for her is truly more powerful. Till next time.